Hi, Josh.
Hi, yeah. Right now?
Hey, yeah. I was actually free, but Pila couldn't speak to me earlier at her slotted time, so I asked her to call me at the end, and she got the time a bit mixed up. And she called just as you called. She called, and I put you on hold, and then I lost you, unfortunately.
Oh shit. Well,
She'll ring back, so I asked her to ring back in half an hour, so we've got about 15 or 20 minutes. How's it going? I heard from Don that you had a bit of a sloppy sea this morning and were having difficulty making breakfast. Is that true?
me? No, not me.
Okay. It didn't sound like your normal setup, so actually maybe I misunderstood him, but I thought he said Josh. Anyway,
no.
So how's it going
No
for
trouble
you?
making breakfast.
How's it going for you?
Oh, it's okay. Just drifting along here. I've got no wind, so I'm just trying to keep the boat moving, but not going very fast, like two knots, 2.5 knots or something like that.
And then sometime tonight that southerly change will come through and you'll pick up and shoot off again.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. All the forecast models I can see said that it should have already swung around, but it hasn't yet, so I'm still waiting for it. Yeah,
I think Jasmine said she's expecting it. I don't know what weather information she's using, but she said she's expecting it in the middle of the night tonight.
Okay, yeah. I mean, anytime.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So you guys have been having some amazingly close racing since you left.
I know, it's wild. After every leg, everybody gets a little faster, it seems. So I think everybody's kind of.
And this time you're all sort of hanging together as well. I mean, Christian's down below and he's the furthest away, but even Ertan's not that far behind, and he's just cruising along, even more cruisy than you. And he's not that far behind, and you guys are right up there.
Yeah. I had really fast conditions for the first couple days. That was pretty suitable for me. Like, there was headwinds for the first day or two, and then it was a beam reach for a day or two, and then it swung around behind, kind of once we got to Vanuatu. But yeah, it's been really good.
Are you doing anything differently in this leg? Because you do seem to be sailing a bit faster. Is it just the weather, or have you changed your strategy?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely trying. Lots of midnight sail changes and lots of spinnaker work, and just basically everything I can to go as fast as I can. So I'm, instead of just main and jib and just kind of letting the boat do its thing, I'm definitely trying to go a little faster.
I guess it must be an incentive to have all those other boats around and doing such close match racing.
Yeah, exactly. When I knew, after I got becalmed in the doldrums and I knew that there was no way I could catch up, I kind of just relaxed a bit. There was no pressure, but since everybody's around, I figure we might as well try and stick together.
Yeah, and I guess it adds to the fun. So how's that affecting your normal rhythms of cooking and sleeping and all that stuff?
I have definitely slept less because there's been some nights when I've been, sailing at night or trying to, do sail changes and stuff like that at 2 a.m. So, but not really too much, honestly. I'm still making breakfast and making dinner and eating well and kind of doing my thing. But just trying to sail more to the conditions rather than just let the boat go.
And have you managed to get the ukulele out, or is that still in its box?
No, I played one time, 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
The little boat likes when I sing, so seems to make it happy.
Yeah, good. So you're still having a great time by the sound of it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Jacob and I had a couple days where we were racing head to head before he passed me, and that was really cool because we could see each other at night and stuff like that, and we're talking on the VHF, and so it was neat to be close to everybody. That's really all I really want. I don't really care how well I do as long as I stay with the group. Just because I want to see people when I get to the stop. So every time I would get to a stop on the last leg, it would be time for everybody to leave. So that's kind of my goal, is to just be with the group at the pit stops.
Yeah, and the fact that you are up there now means you should be able to stay in that middle group at least all the way across. So there's no reason why you won't. No reason why you will fall behind like you did before, because you left late and the weather system was different. And once you get into that different weather window, it's really hard to bring it all back together. But this time you're in there and you should stay there, I think.
Yeah, that's one of my thoughts too. So I'm just trying to do my best. I'm not trying to beat anybody. Just trying to sail as good as I can. But definitely a bit faster.
And it's early days yet, but how's the boat standing up?
Great. You saw it. It's in good shape. There's no issues. Little boat, happy.
Yeah, so...
glad to be back safe. I'm tied to the dock.
And food-wise, you got... I guess you would have used up all your fresh food by now from Vuda, so I guess you're back to your long-life foods?
Yeah, exactly. I had some bell pepper and some onions and some potatoes and stuff like that. I still had a few potatoes left, but everything else is pretty much gone. I made that stuff in the first week. It's funny because when focus more on the racing and kind of sticking with the group and stuff like that, the time seems to go by a lot faster. Like when I was sailing all by myself, it just seemed like it would draw out, and I was like, oh god, a 14-day passage, and I'd be counting the days and everything like that. And this one, I'm not even concerned. I just every day I try to sail as good as I can, and I'm like, holy cow, we're already like halfway there. It happens quick.
And are you doing much hand steering now? Because you never used to do it much before.
Hand steering?
Yeah, are you doing any hand steering now to make the boat go faster? Have you changed your approach to that?
Yeah, in the Pacific, like Panama to the Marquesas, I hand steered like 12 hours a day, and
I remember that. I'd forgotten. Yeah, you used to steer up a little bit during the day and then come back down during the night when you were sleeping.
Right, but no, to be fair, I haven't done that much hand steering since leaving Fiji. Maybe, I don't know, 2 days I hand steered for 8 or 10 hours. Just at the start, I was hand steering to get out of the atoll there for 12 hours straight. But then when Jacob was behind me, I could see his little sail on the horizon. I was hand steering, trying to hold him off. But no, the wind vane's been doing great. I've actually gotten a lot better at using it. So it's actually been really good conditions for the wind vane.
And what were the first couple of days like? I've heard a couple of people say, I think they were people who went a little bit further north were picked up the first couple of nights, first couple of days. They had quite strong winds and lumpy seas. People who stayed south seemed to have more settled weather.
I think other people are more sensitive to that than I am. I like it when it's windy and lumpy because my little boat goes fast in those conditions. So. Yeah. It doesn't bother me any. I kind of like a bit rougher seas. I get good surfs, and the little boat handles rougher conditions really well. I think my boat's a bit heavier, so it does better in rougher conditions, and so I'm always fine with it. It was windy and lumpy, but I didn't mind. Didn't upset me any.
Then you had that period in the middle where you've lost the wind a bit now, but you had that period in the middle when it was almost perfect for a few days.
Oh, it was absolutely perfect. I think that there was one day there, it might have been the third or fourth day out of Vunda, where that was probably the single best day of sailing in my life. It was 15 to 20 knots on the beam, and the seas were pretty flat because there was a day, I don't know how everybody else found it. I'm pretty sure it was probably the same, but there was one day where it rained. It was cloudy and raining the entire day. It rained for one whole day, and that rain kind of knocks the seas down, So after the rain event, seas had flattened out, and then the breeze picked up, but it didn't whip up the waves, and so it was kind of flat seas, but still good breeze, and oh man, we were just flying along. So yeah, that was really enjoyable. That was probably the best day yet.
Yeah. So what do you have any strategies going forward to get through the Barrier Reef?
I think I'm I'm going to go Rain Island. I have Ken's, whatever that book is I got on the Kindle, Ken's Guide to the Barrier Reef. And he does a pretty convincing job of selling Rain Island as the way to go. I've been talking to Jasmine, and she said she's going around the north end, but that's like a full day up and then a full day back, so it's almost like 2 days longer, you know. I mean, or I guess if you go through Rain Island, and then once you pass through the reef, it takes you a day and a half to get to Thursday, and then if you go up around the north end, it takes you a day to go up and a day to get back, so it's about a day longer, I think, to go around. Yeah. And there's, you know, according to that Ken's guide, there's more ships up there, and it's not necessarily free of hazards. You still have to navigate through reefs and shoals and stuff, so...
Yeah, there's plenty
I've got the,
little islands and things, yeah, and plus the ships, plus you might have the windfall of the beam.
Right, that's the other thing, is you're probably going to be going upwind on the way back, you know, because southeasterly you're trying to go south, so... yeah, I'm not sold on that. It kind of depends, I guess. Like, if it's blowing 30 knots when I get to the reef, I don't know, we'll see. They say that once you get inside the reef, though, that the wind doesn't really whip up the waves like it does in the open ocean.
Yeah, so, I've sailed inside the reef. I've never come through the passage. I've always been in. I started from down south in the Queensland coast and gone up inside the reef all the way. But once you get up towards the top end there, you'll never see seas bigger than a couple of metres or so. Maybe 3 if it was blown at a very serious scale, but usually a couple of metres. They'll be steep, but they'll be going with you, so that won't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And
going south is a different story altogether. But you'll be fine.
That's just like home for...
Just like...
that's just like home for me, because it's like anytime you're in the Salish Sea there, like on the Strait of Juan de Fuca, it's always deep seas. It's deep, but there's a couple of banks under the water there that where it's only like 150 feet deep or something like that, and so you get these waves that are like, you know, 1 meter, 2 meters, but only like 4 seconds between them or something like that. A really short period, so yeah. I mean, I'm used to it.
Yeah, well, that's the sort of weather you'll get inside the reef, but it'll be consistently behind you, so that'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just fine with me. And I mean, there's always the option to anchor. There's lots of places to anchor. I don't really plan on doing that. I hope to not have to, but it's always an option, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. All right. Well, we should probably think about signing off so that I don't, clash with Pila again. She said she'd ring back in probably in another 5 minutes from now, I think. So is there anything else you'd like to tell people before we say goodbye?
There was something, but I forgot what it was. I'll tell you next week or next time.
All right, well, you'll be in Thursday Island or somewhere, or even probably in Thursday Island next time we talk. So I'll be interested to hear about your adventures getting through the reef.
Yeah, very well.
Okay.
I think my plan is to anchor at Horn Island, depending on the wind, I guess. But they say that Horn Island's a little bit more sheltered, and then you just take the ferry across to Thursday Island.
It is significantly more sheltered, yes.
Right,
you're sort of in the lee of the land if it's a southeaster, whereas at Thursday it's blown right through the channel.
Yeah, and you're on the lee shore, so that's my plan. See how it goes, kind of where everybody else is.
Yeah, just catch the ferry across to Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wish you the great adventure.
All right, I appreciate that, Graham. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I will talk to you again soon.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Hello.
Hey, Josh.
Oh, yes, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Sorry I missed you earlier. It's been a busy day.
Yeah. I just had a message from Jasmine as well, but I wasn't. And just as she didn't ring me, she sent me a recorded voice message, and I was just starting to listen to it. So I'll listen to that afterwards, and I'll try and get back to her with a message or something if she wants to chat later. But good to hear from you. So you're about to leave TI tomorrow sometime?
Yeah, tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m.
Okay, yeah. Well, how do you feel about your time at Thursday Island?
Oh, I've had a lovely time. Everybody has complained that it's a difficult place to get around, and I mean, we have to use the water taxi to get to and from the boats and stuff, which is a bit, expensive and inconvenient, but it's a beautiful place, and everybody's so friendly. I've really had a great time.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. I presume you would have spent a fair bit of time on the boat because of the cost and inconvenience of needing the water taxi whenever you went ashore, but that would be your only limitation, I suppose.
Yeah, I spent 2 days on board, I think, and then 3 days on land. We would just get the water taxi in the morning and kind of just do stuff around town, and then go back in the evening, so we can have, like a cooked meal in a restaurant, that kind of thing. But it's been really nice. It's been nice because everybody was here together, so we were all able to, go to the pub and have beers and play pool and enjoy the company of one another, which is kind of our favorite part about the whole thing. So it was a nice balance. The biggest issue that I had was I broke a spreader.
Oh, okay.
Coming through the Great Barrier Reef, mainsail jibed and crashed against the spreader and broke it pretty badly. And so a good deal of my time and energy was spent getting that fixed. So Kerry broke a spreader as well, and he kind of did all the legwork as far as finding the welder and letting me know where to go and that kind of thing. So I had to go up the mast and take the spreaders down, and then I took them to the welder, and I had him. He welded them up and reinforced them and everything, and then I spent a day putting them back up. So it should be good to go now, though. They should be a lot stronger than they were. It seems to be a common breakage for people.
Yeah, there's been some discussion about whether the spreader's a little bit too wide and the angle of the cap shroud where it comes from the tip of the spreader down to the chain plate, which is putting pressure on them going forwards, which is definitely an issue that should be addressed. But the other issue, of course, is when you drive like that with your swept back spreaders, it's inevitable that you're going to put a big load on the spreader.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're using the mainsail and you've got it all the way out, it's pretty much just laying right on the spreader. So it's pretty hard to avoid. I had done a good job of kind of keeping the main sheeted in, but the conditions coming through the reef, I had to let it all the way out, and it was just laying right on them. And I had a couple of jibes. So yeah, they took a beating for sure. Yeah, so it's definitely a weak point in the rig.
Tell us a little bit about your approach to the Great Barrier Reef and your passage through the Rain Island entrance.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously, it's one of the major navigational obstacles of the whole thing, so everybody had a bit of trepidation about it. But I timed it perfectly. I got right to Rain Island at slack water. And so it was probably 20 knots and probably 3 meter seas offshore. And then as soon as I came around that great detached reef, it all just flattened out, and it went down to like 1 meter seas, not much more than that. So it was really manageable. Okay. And then about noon, so I got there about 9 o'clock in the morning. And then about noon that day, the wind kind of dropped and the tide had changed. So the tide was against us. So we slowed down for a bit. And then once the tide changed back, the wind picked back up. We had about 20, 25 knots. And it was no problem. We went really fast. I think I made the whole 120 miles in about 24 hours. So with the current, we were going 7 knots. It was just two reefs in the main. And the jib pulled out on the other side, and we were hurtling along. So I had used Ken's Torres Strait guide, the book that's written about it, and I had the breadcrumbs plotted in my chart plotter, so I was able to just follow those, and everything worked out perfectly. It was no issues at all.
And whereabouts were you when you broke the spreader?
I I don't know, because I didn't realize it until the next day.
Oh,
so I made it all the way into the harbor, and then I saw Kerry mention that he had broken a spreader, and I was like, oh yeah, I should look at mine, because it definitely took a beating, and I looked up, and yeah, sure enough, it was broken, so I didn't actually realize until the next day. But I was not surprised to see it, because it did take quite a bit of abuse.
So I'm a bit surprised by that, because I thought once the spreader was broken, it would compromise the rig. And make it risky. I thought it might dismast you or something.
No, because it's still attached by the pin, so really, I mean, that whole end could shear off, and the thing isn't going to come off because it's held on by the pin. You know, the spreader can move back and forth a bit, but and that makes the cap shroud looser, but the lower shrouds, they don't interfere with the spreader at all. They go through the little tang that goes inside the spreader, so the mast is still supported by the lower shrouds.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And
even if you break the spreader.
And did you have a reef main or the full main up?
Yeah, I had the main down too, so I was on second reef for most of the ride. So, and then that was how I was able to get the spreaders off without having to take the mast down. I just did the two halyards to the handrails on the sides just for a little bit of extra support. The spinnaker halyards, but the lower shrouds hold the mast up, and then the cap shrouds kind of pull the top half of the mast back, and so that's what supports it, you know, and so I had both running backstays on, because I had the main reef down, I was able to use both running backstays, and so it had support holding it back, so I think that's why it was okay.
Yeah, okay, and so it's really only the top third of the mast that was probably not as well supported laterally as it normally would be.
Right, exactly. But I mean, even still, the spreader still held, the cap shroud still had tension on it.
Okay.
It was just the spreader was able to move back and forth, 10 centimeters or something like that, which is obviously not desirable. But I did get him reinforced. He welded a significant amount of aluminum onto the front half of the spreader, so I think it should be all good.
That's good. So one other question I have about the Rain Island Passage. As you came in onto soundings there, before you got to the Great Barrier Reef, did you have any breaking seas?
No, it was all following seas. The only thing is, so you could go along for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and you would track perfectly straight, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you would get this wave that came from the starboard side for whatever reason, because they were mostly right up the stern, and then it would just pick the boat up and turn it to starboard, and then the main would backwind, and then to bring it back around, the main would then go back against the rig, so that was how it happened. But no, for the most part, it was all straightforward.
Yeah, it's interesting the wave was coming from starboard, because I thought you were running with southeasterly winds.
No, it was pretty much dead downwind. I mean, it kind of veered around. Once the wind picked back up, it kind of veered around, and so I was pretty much running right before it.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit south. It would, you'd get southeast basically.
Yeah. That was when you were inside the reef heading north.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, the thing I was curious about was just what happened to the sea as you were approaching from the outside, from the Coral Sea, and you came up onto soundings before you got to the Great Detached Reef, before you actually went through the passage. A lot of people were concerned that the seas would break right across the entrance.
Yeah, I didn't have that. It was big. The seas were pretty big, like I said, about 3 meters outside the detached reef, and as soon as I got behind it, it just flattened out. And the run actually through the gap, which is about a mile wide there, was perfectly fine. It was like lake sailing. Okay,
yeah. So no issue to worry about when you're coming in from deep water.
Yeah, not at all. No, I didn't have any of that chop or anything. It was all very smooth. I was very happy.
Good. And any other issues with treatment? besides his presence?
No, that was pretty much it. Oh, except for a seabird. So the seabirds were a menace on this passage. They were constantly trying to land on the boat, and I would chase them off the boat, and then they would try to land on the masthead. And I was really worried that they were going to break my Windex by trying to land on the masthead. They were going to try to land on the little arrow and just break it off. And I managed to keep them from doing anything to it for the whole 2 weeks or whatever. And then on the very last night, I must have been asleep, and one of them must have tried to land on the masthead while I was sleeping, and it bent the little flag that shows you your wind angle. There's two little flags that face aft that show you your tack angles, and one of them got bent off. The starboard one got bent off to the side, so I'm assuming a bird must have tried to land on it while I was sleeping. And I had intended to go up and fix it while I was here, but I never had the chance to come, because I didn't want to go all the way to the masthead at anchor.
Yeah.
That I was just worried about the tipping over and going into the sea, so I wasn't able to come alongside the wharf, so I didn't get it fixed, so I'm just going to have to live without it.
I did notice that there was a bit of movement in the anchorage. The boats were dancing around a bit.
No, actually, the anchorage is the water's pretty flat, but the wind is very strong still. I mean, we're still getting 25 knot winds in the anchorage, but it doesn't really affect the water at all. It's actually been a very, very calm anchorage from sea state standpoint. I haven't had any complaints. It's just windy.
Oh, okay, good. And did you manage to get any supplies before, or how are you placed for provisions for the trip to Mauritius?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty well stocked. I bought 4 big bags of groceries today. I was really surprised to see that Thursday Island was really well stocked. I thought I was going to be a little bit more desolate. But the grocery store here is fantastic. They had a great selection and just about anything I wanted, and a couple things I didn't even know I wanted. So it all worked out really well.
Yeah, okay, and
so yeah, I should be well stocked for the run to Mauritius. I mean, I don't expect to get much in Cocos, so that's why I tried to stock up here.
Once again, Cocos has, I don't know what they've got in long latitude, but they've got regular flights in from Australia, from Perth, so they're bringing in fresh food all the time.
Yeah, I've heard that if you get your order in on a Friday, they'll bring it to you that week or something like that.
It's just a question of what you want. But it's probably going to be very expensive. But Thursday Island has a reputation for being expensive as well. Did you find that?
Everybody else complained about the prices, but Seattle, where I'm from at home, is very expensive. So I found it to be pretty much on par with what I'm used to from home.
Okay, yeah. I guess it's the transport. Everything has to get trucked and flown and barged up there.
Yeah.
That adds to the costs.
I imagine, yeah. I figured that it would be a limited selection, and what we could get would be expensive. So I tried to get enough to get me through. I shouldn't need much when I get there, hopefully.
And what's your strategy for the Indian Ocean?
I'm going to try to kind of just split the difference. Everybody had this big argument about whether or not to go too far north. I know the winds and the currents are a little bit better north, but then you might end up sailing a little bit further. So, I mean, I'll just follow the rest of the fleet as best I can, but I'm just going to try to kind of just not stick to the rum line, because the rum line I feel like is a little south, but just within 100 miles of the rum line or something like that.
Yeah, I guess I've noticed that Renault is a little bit north of the rum line, and he said that he was basically going to follow the shipping routes, the shipping channels to the west, because he reckons they sail the shortest distances. But the others, Dan and Kerry, are definitely going a bit further north at this stage.
Yeah, that was my plan too, was just kind of follow the shipping lane. I figure it's the safest, and like you said, they've got it pretty well worked out. So.
Yeah, and Renault hasn't seen that many ships. I think he's seen 2 or 3 cargo ships and 2 or 3 fishing boats, and they were all well lit and all covered by AAS, and he's quite comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Right, well, I should probably let you go, and I really appreciate the call. I wish you all the best for your trip.
All right, Graham, I appreciate that. So, like I said, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'll give you a call in a couple weeks, let you know how we're going.
I appreciate it. Fair winds.
Okay. All right. Take care, Graham.
Bye.